Facebook. We'll be getting started in just a second. Hope you're doing well. And I think we should be live on Facebook. Hi everybody, welcome to this afternoon's lesson, or video rather. I'm Sami Awsad, Director of Education at T3 Live. Hope you're doing well, hope you're having a great weekend so far. Before we get started, as always, a standard required disclaimer to let you know that trading is risky and that whatever we discuss today is for educational purposes only. So make sure you agree to that before proceeding with the video. But with that said, what we're going to do today is what we always do, which is go over the market and go over some swing ideas for next week. So if you like what you see, be sure to check out the links in the description. I actually dropped a link to a brand new video that I did on support and resistance, how to locate support and resistance lines on any chart, any time frame. So link is in the description for that. Feel free to watch it. I just finished doing that video, recording that video sometime last week. So check it out. But with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Also, if you find benefit in today's video, I would appreciate it if you hit the like button. That helps me out a lot with the Google algos, I guess, with the YouTube algos. So hit the like button, please. All right. Okay, we're gonna go over the market first. We'll go over the Qs. This list starts from strongest to weakest. The Qs is by far the strongest thing out there. 1 second, here we go. So the Qs is by far the strongest, but the picture is the same. We have an uptrend and we have a very, very strong pivot that formed on the hourly chart of the Qs on Friday, yesterday. So it's a very, very easy call for next week. So Qs up, SPY up, again weaker and weaker, but the same picture. Look at the hourly pivot here that formed on Friday, yesterday. IWM the same thing. USO is different, but Qs, SPY, Diamonds, Russell 2000, they're all the same. And the bias should be very, very clear for Monday, all out bullish unless we break under Friday's low. Unless we break under, on the Qs, 209.50. Very easy. So barring a break of 209.50, I'm going to continue to be bullish next week. Again, barring a break of that pivot, I'm going to continue to be bullish. The SPY, exactly the same thing. Barring a break of this pivot, the buy should be bullish. When will this rally end? Will it end? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, but I'm telling you, this rally that we got, especially in the Qs, which is the tracking ETF for the NASDAQ 100, is a lot more bullish than people think. It just is. I'm a natural bear. I like bearish markets more than I do bullish markets. But the truth is, this rally has been super bullish. The Qs is up on the year. It's not even down on the year. People don't even know that. Maybe flat on the year. I don't know. Last week when I did this video, the Qs was up 1.5%. So maybe we're like flat on the year. This as of today, as of Friday's close. But the Qs is not even down on the year, and yet we have what, 60 million people out of jobs, 26 million jobless claims. And yet the market is bullish. So never argue with it. Can I make a case? Can we all make a case for why the market should be in a bearish downtrend? Sure, I can make a case in 1 minute. I'm sure you do too. There are many compelling arguments why this is actually worse than 2008. I mean, Ray Dalio says so, right? Who am I to disagree with Ray Dalio? That this is closer to the Great Depression than it is to the 2008 recession. Yet the market is not saying so. The market is saying, ignore the noise and play long unless you want to lose money. I did play short one day on this whole way up, and I lost money, which was actually Friday. A couple of the shorts, I was too soon. I shorted too soon. One of the plays actually, I went short and stopped out. Same day. My biggest mistake on Friday was I called this hourly buy setup in the room, in the strategic day trader room. I called it on the 15-minute chart, and I said it also on the 5-minute chart. We had multiple time frame alignment. These are the kind of buy setups that don't fail when you have, this is a buy setup and then a breakout, right? We had an hourly buy setup, a 15-minute buy setup. Here's the hourly buy setup again, that pivot low, that's a buy setup. A 15-minute buy setup, right? 15 large buy setup, right? And then a small buy setup right here. I called it in the room, and yet I didn't play it. So that was kind of my worst mistake on Friday. But at any rate, never argue with the market. Just listen to its message, unless you want to lose money, okay? And ignore the noise. USO remains very, very weak, and I don't know, unless we can set up as a higher low right here. We tried, I mean, it tried right here on Thursday and it failed, but it didn't really fail, it just came in. So unless we go back up on Friday right here, then USO could actually still drop some more because it stayed very, very weak. So we'll monitor USO, we'll monitor the oil stocks. For the most part, what's been working are, of course, the high-tech stocks, but also mostly the biotech stocks. That's what's been flying. Biotech, food stocks. So I like, for example, for tomorrow, I like KR, or for Monday, I like KR long. That's a pretty good one. I like it a lot. Over the base, I like Hain, Hain, is a food delivery, whatever food stock, food packaging. Looks good to me. And cannabis looks good. First thing on Friday, somebody asked me about Tilray when it was at $7, $7.07 actually. I said it looks good, and then bam, popped $1. But CGC looks good. Tilray looks good. CGC looks good. Crohn looks good. So again, biotech stocks, food-related stocks, and I guess cannabis stocks all look good. So with that said, let me go ahead and go over the entire list with you of things that I like for Monday. If you're in the strategic swing trader, feel free to log on to your T3 Live account, go to your customer portal, and log on to the spreadsheet. You'll see which plays I will be taking in my account on Monday. Okay? Which plays I will be personally taking on Monday. But let me show you the entire list, bullish and bearish. We have a lot of bearish ideas too. But we want to see the market break that on the Qs 209.50. So ANH is a real estate stock. Most of the real estate stocks, mortgage real estate stocks, are doing terrible. But ANH looks the best. Over the base, long, stop under it, target 1, probably real target is more like up here. Okay, on the ANH. So I like this higher. BGS, daily breakout. Again, I don't know what it is, but B&G Foods. Must be food related. So I do like it higher over the base, stop under the base. Tight stop. Hain we talked about, looks higher over that daily highs, stop under the base. And then target is $30. If you want to know what the target is, up here basically, the 200 MA on the weekly chart. Okay. KR is even better. KR has a base breakout plus a 1, 2, 3. The breakout bar, the doji bar, and then if we continue higher, that would be considered a 1, 2, 3 continuation bar. Mankind, biotech, base breakout. Let me open up the chart so you can see the whole picture. Basically, I like it higher over the base. Target would be about 160. Stop right here. Or you can put the stop under the entire base. But it has good reward to risk. So I like Mankind higher. MRSN, I think, is going to explode higher. Extremely sloppy, but put in 2 wide range bars and is basing at the top. So I really, really like MRSN for a big pop, I think, to $15. I think it's going to $15 on the MRSN, okay? Biotech, therapeutics. PBF is oil. It's one of the few oil stocks that's holding up pretty well. So I like it over the base, stop under it, and target, I would say, about minimum $10. Minimum. But if USO starts taking off, this probably goes to 15. That's 100% gain. It would be. So on PBF, so I like it. SIG, daily transition A, better probably hourly chart is like a breakout on the hourly chart. So over the base, stop under it. Also reminds me of TUP a little bit, beaten down stock, and then over the base, long, stop under it. So it's same thing. SPCB is probably a biotech stock, and then long over the base, stop just under these two green bars, and it will also be under the hourly pivot. As you see, I use the hourly chart and the daily chart for swing trading. So entry would be over the base, stop just under it. Okay, I like it. TALO is a transition A on the daily chart, and another oil stock. I'm not planning to play it, but it's not bad. It held up pretty good, so it looks higher to me. And then VIR, probably going to pop to 40 bucks, probably, but I checked the reward to risk on it, and even if it were to pop to 40, it still wouldn't have enough reward to risk for me to play. Otherwise, I like it higher. Over here, stop under. Okay, so probably goes to 40, maybe even to 50. So that's the bullish list. Again, if you're a subscriber to my newsletter, feel free to log on to your account, and you can already see which plays I will be taking. In terms of the shorts, I like CRS short. That looks beautiful. It's some might argue, oh, it's a head and shoulders. I would just call it a breakout failure. See that breakout, and it came back in, and if it breaks down, that will be looked at as a breakout failure. So I like it under the base, right here. Don't need to put the stop up here, just over this little base, over that right shoulder, so to speak. Targets the prior pivot, the prior low. So I like the CRS short. DS looks good too, but it's a $1 stock. I generally don't short the small stocks, but anyways, it looks lower still. Eagle, also low price stock, looks like it's going to 0. So short under 144, stop just over the base right here, 150 something. GSX is the daily sell side plus a 123. So I like it to come back down to the prior pivot low at a bare minimum. Maybe it even reaches 25 bucks on GSX. Okay, another Chinese stock that when LK I think got halted as a fraud or something, the GSX broke down. That's when it gapped down. I think it was the same day. So for April 2nd, let's take a look at LK. I think it was April 2nd. So that's what broke the camel's back, so to speak. It was super bullish until that day, and from there it broke down and is now looking bearish. You know, on these low price Chinese stocks, the volatile ones, I remember a few years ago there was another symbol that somebody that I know played long and put $30,000 in it, which wasn't a lot of money. It's just she sized it correctly, and it never reopened. It literally never reopened. 3 months later, her broker wrote off the entire amount to 0, so she lost the entire investment. So if it's a Chinese stock and it's getting killed, I don't ever touch it long, because that's the issue, is that it can get halted and it may never reopen because it could be a fraud, right? And so this has been, I guess, halted since April 6th. So GSX is having an effect on GSX. This looks lower as a 1, 2, 3. I like it short. HUD, HUD, and WBT, similar. I mean, almost same pictures. See it? Beautiful. And SPR, same picture. Breakdowns. I like the CRS probably the most, but I like the other ones too. The HUD, under the base, under the spread bars low, under the pivot actually. Target the prior lows, stop just over that rise, over that flat 20 on the daily chart. IBKR is a beauty, is 1, 2, 3, 4. So short under this bar's low, stop above these two bars, and target very clear around 34 bucks. The low is 34, I think. Oh, that's 33.70. So let's say the target is around 34 bucks. So I like the IBKR short. LB is a 1, 2, 3. I was gonna do it until I checked the reward to risk. So this is the thing about trading that a lot of people unfortunately don't understand, because this is the problem, guys, with trading, is most of you think, oh, it's just let's wing it and see what happens. You can't do that. You lose money, 100%, guaranteed. So you have to approach it in a real professional way. You can't just wing it and expect to make money. You have to make sure that there's a setup, and that there is, what's a setup? I mean, a high probability repeating pattern, a pattern that you've traded 1,000,000 times and it's worked 900,000 times of the 1,000,000 times that you traded. You get the point, that it's a high probability repeating pattern, okay? And then you also have to make sure that it has enough reward to risk. So I like this. That's a 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern. I like it short right here, stop right here, and then target is usually the prior lows. So I check the reward to risk on it. It's not there. It's low reward to risk. So if it's a low reward to risk play, I just pass. So LB is low reward to risk. MAT looks beautiful as a short, but where's the target? This prior pivot low. That's low reward to risk. Now, if you were to say, no, Sammy, that's not the target. It should break through this easily. This is the target. Then I would play this. If I knew that MAT would get to the prior pivot low right here, then I would play it. No questions asked, because it's beautiful. But if it only is going to come down 765, then I would say no. It doesn't have enough reward to risk. Even though it's the same chart, the same stock. We're not talking about two different stocks here. Same stock, same chart. But depending on what you pick for your target would determine for me whether I play it or not. So that's really important. Netgear is a 1, 2, 3. What a powerful gap. Notice how people bought it the day before earnings thinking it was going to gap up. Nice spike in volume, right? And the next day it gapped down. What does that mean? That means every single person that bought it, and take a look. I mean, we had, look at this. The volume was 900,000 shares. I thought it was more, actually. I guess it's a relatively low volume stock. So 921,000 shares went long, stayed long because there isn't much of a topping tail. If there was a big topping tail, it means the longs some of them got out. But this thing closed almost at the highs. So a lot of people went long thinking it was going to report good numbers. The next day, it didn't. It gapped down. So every single person, every single hedge fund manager, every single little guy, small novice trader, every single professional trader lost money that day because it gapped down. And so now it kind of ended the uptrend. And so I like it as a 1, 2, 3 short to probably 18 bucks. Maybe it comes all the way back down to 16. The only thing I don't like about it is that 20 MA is not pointing down. I like the 1, 2, 3 patterns, any pattern, bearish pattern, when the 20 is already pointing down. I remember was it not the FRI, FTI. I remember when the FTI put in a beautiful 1, 2, 3 pattern. Here it is, and the 20 was already starting to flattened out, starting to point down. Here's the 1, 2, 3 gap down, just like the Netgear did. 1, 2, 3, and then look at that, big drop, and then out. Okay, you don't need to hang on to it. It collapsed again with oil, right? It collapsed again, but this was gorgeous. And so the same here, but the only issue is the 20 hasn't yet flattened out, but I do like it a lot. Netgear as a short. ONDK looks lower. It's a low price stock, but looks lower. It's a breakdown on the daily chart. RWT is real estate. It's one of the few mortgage stocks that did not take out the 20, never took out the 20 on the daily chart. So now it's a short under the base, stop above it, and target the prior low, and maybe it goes to zero. Who knows? A lot of these mortgage stocks, it's kind of a long discussion that they're going to go bankrupt because they lend money to these businesses, and all these businesses, restaurants, all kinds of shops, are closed, and so some of them are never going to reopen. They're not paying their mortgage. Not only are they not paying back the company, which has to pay the bank, right? But they're also, the value of that real estate the value of their real estate holdings is actually dropping. So the banks are requiring them to put up more collateral, more money, more cash. But they don't have the cash, so they're triggering margin calls, these mortgage stocks. Would you believe it? And so that's why they all collapse. I can give you like 30 names. RWT, MFA, look at this, right? From $8 it dropped to 32 cents, I think. Yeah, 32 cents. Now it's at 150, but it doesn't look good. So many of them. NYMT, TWO. Look at how they collapsed. Probably like a 90% drop in a lot of these. So, and there's 30 of them. I have a list because I often trade them, but not recently. I haven't actually traded them. IVR, right? Look at that, IVR. That looks like death is approaching, unfortunately, for this company. IVR. It looks lower under the base. Could be a short, actually. Stop over the base. Very, very liquid. Average about 10 million shares a day. Under the base, stop above it. Looks even better than the RWT. Almost as good. SPR, right? Also looks lower under the base. It's a short. TWI is just going to zero, most likely. $1.11, but looks lower. If it drops to 50 cents, 60 cents, how much would you make? 50%. So the price of the stock really doesn't matter. Low price stocks, though, I don't put up that much equity in it or that much cash in it, because if it jumps, if it gaps up, they can gap a lot. So if it gaps up a lot, then you can easily get hurt. But I play them exactly the same as a $1,000 stock. Okay, exact same way. I look for the same exact patterns. But the only issue is I can't put too much cash in a small position, in a low price stock, I mean. Okay, WBT base breakdown, like it under the base, stop over that right shoulder right here and target the prior pivot low. And then last but not least is the WMC. I guess a flat 20, and it's crisscrossing price or going through price, I wouldn't do that. But at any rate, if you're in the strategic swing trader with me, as I said, feel free to log on to your account, and you'll see which ones I intend to do for Monday. Okay, so with that said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you find benefits in it, and be sure to check out the links. If you want to trade with me for the next 30 days, you can do so for just 49 bucks. Okay, you can check out the strategic swing trader, you can check out the strategic day trader. So feel free. And there's again a new video that I put together, that I recorded, about how to locate support and resistance lines on any time frame, basically. So feel free to check it out. Link is in the description, and be sure to hit the like button if you found benefit in today's video. I wish you all the best next week. The floodgates are gonna open up next week because we have earnings. Earnings season already started, but the first week or two are always very, very slow. You almost don't know you're in earnings season. But earnings season did start, but next week is when the floodgates open. Okay, so I'm looking forward to that. I hope you're doing well, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take care. Ciao.